Well, holy shit. Okay. Well, you guys certainly let me have it. That's for sure. God, you bombarded the living hell out of me. Seeing how sparring, I suppose, would be a decent word to use here. The last chapter was, according to comments at the very least, I decided to, rather than just, summarize my thoughts in the kind of afterpin of the chapter, create a video on it because, by God, I mean, I expected some backlash because, Felix was a fun character. He was pretty funny, he was lucky pairings. Like, okay, he wouldn't do it, he wouldn't cripple her even more. It's like, yeah, he would. Yeah, he fucking would. Like, in my defense, I haven't killed off a major character in like 150 chapters. Like, basically, since the Wrath of the Empyrean chapters, I haven't killed a major character of the Lena group basically. And I don't know, I that's way too long to go, at least for me personally, without killing anyone. It's like I got antsy. I'm kidding, of course. I didn't just kill him out of nowhere. The reason why chapter may have felt rushed is because that wasn't the place where I was actually going to kill him off. The place I was going to kill him off would have been at the end of the volume 9, so basically 274, 275. But at the last second, I kind of had a change of plans in terms of story. You guys will see eventually when I get there. And I kind of had to push his death a bit back, and I just kept pushing it, pushing it, and pushing it. And wound up in that place where it kind of felt rushed and it kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest. I could have built it up a bit more, that's for sure. This way just seems like he randomly showed up there and just kind of died. That was an error on my part. I could have definitely written it better, but he had to go. Like, that was the bottom line. He was never gonna survive. Like, when I first wrote his character in, I didn't even imagine him staying for that long, to be honest. He would have just kind of accompanied Lino for a little while till Lino gained his powers, and then Felix would be basically left behind. But they had that kind of fun dynamic of master disciple, and Felix is kind of this counterpoint to show Lino's growth. And I decided, to make him stick around. And at that moment, when I kind of realized that Felix was sticking around, I knew that at one point in time he was going to die because he was an expendable character. He could never match the growth of any other of Delina's companions, and rather than just leaving him behind to kind of just rot somewhere in the kingdom far away, I decided to kind of make him the sparing point, the kind of visual change. That Lena will undergo. You will see in the following chapters what I mean. This is a bit of a spoiler, but you guys hate me already, so whatever. So I knew he was gonna die. I just didn't exactly know at one point. As I said, the plan about, well, when I was writing like 10 chapters prior to this, was to kill him off for the kind of as the kind of climax of the entire volume. But stuff got in the way, and I kept pushing his death back and back and back, and it kind of wound up in this very awkward spot, very awkward chapter that came kind of out of nowhere, and I apologize for that. It was a blunder on my part. Eventually, when I get to writing, publishing rather, the third novel, I'm gonna rewrite the entire chapter to kind of give it a bit more structure. It's gonna be a long ass chapter, but I might actually even go back in a couple of days and rewrite it just to kind of give it a bit more context and kind of layer it out because it's very vague. I realize it's very vague. My apologies for that. That's again my bad. I was kind of rushed there. I was like, okay, I gotta kill him, but I don't want to build it too much to kind of make you guys expect it and kind of see it coming and go, oh my god, Philly's gonna die. What the fuck? I did want it to feel like it kind of came out of nowhere, but that there was enough build up. It's just that I didn't really give myself enough time for that build up. I did drop quite a lot of hints. I don't know if any of you picked them up. Quite a few times, especially in the past like 20, 30 chapters, and basically the whole proposal was like big, huge red flag. I was kind of, surprised that no one pointed it out. Like nobody wrote in the comments, "Oh my god, what a big red flag." I don't know. I think it's my fault because again, I didn't kill any one of the major characters in like 150 chapters, which is unprecedented for me. In every single one of the novels that I've written in my life, I've never gone that far without killing one of the major casts. Like, I don't know if I should be proud or ashamed of it, but it's info about my writing style. A biggest concern I saw was in terms of Lucky, besides Felix, of course, and what's this mean to her? It's a bit of a spoiler. Her entire character arc, basically who she's gonna become, uh, has been kind of foreshadowed during the Lena going on rampage, killing everyone in the final volume of the first book. So 95th and onward chapters. We'll see. I can't say anything because it's gonna spoil quite a few chapters ahead. But you will see, in case you didn't drop it because of the Felix's death. I mean, I wouldn't blame you, but please don't do it. It was weird actually. I posted a chapter and I went and I think watched the TV show Blacklist a few episodes and I was like, okay, let me check if there are any comments. And I go up and there are like 15 comments on each of the websites. I'm like, holy shit, people really don't like this chapter. Before I even opened the comments, and I opened the comments and there it is, like, fuck you, author. This sucks. What the shit? This came out of nowhere. Fuck you, go to hell. It's like, oh my god. Oh, holy shit, what have I done? But again, 150 chapters. I mean, another thing is that Lino kind of needed a wake up call because he was kind of playing the innocent fool in the whole ordeal by basically saying, "Oh, look, I don't have to kill anyone. I can just terrify them to death." And playing very loose with the whole concept of who he was and what he meant to the world. And I couldn't just abruptly make him go, okay, I'm tired of that, let's go kill some people. I had to somehow change that facet of his character to kind of, spur a change inside of him that will actually manifest into the character I want him to become for the following sometime. I don't want to spoil anything again. And this will become a cornerstone moment of his character. Don't worry. This is gonna be explained way more in other chapters than it was in this one. I mean, I butchered this chapter. There's really uh, no other way to describe it, and I apologize for it. Blunder on my part. Again, I may come back and rewrite it. If I do, I'm gonna let you guys know so I can go back and kind of revisit the whole that thing if that's your thing. And I don't know. I suppose I learned my lesson. If you can't properly set up someone's death, don't just jam it in there and say, okay, it's there, it works, whatever, let's just move on. Build it properly. Could have done. Maybe I should have just stayed the original course of the storyline and basically killed Felix off, like the end of the volume. But that would have meant writing a lot of filler. Basically, just them sitting around doing Jack Diddley until one day, just Felix's death happened, and that's basically where the story kind of resumes. And that was the biggest issue, is that I didn't have that in between story between basically Lino capturing Eos and Felix's death. I didn't have enough story to kind of stretch it into large enough of a portion to kind of match that Felix's death at the end of the volume, and which is why I had to push it back to kind of condense it. I still had a couple of filler chapters. For instance, the crafting chapter, the celestial rod chapter, shouldn't have been written for about 15, 16 more chapters in concert with other items that he's going to create soon enough. I mean, I could have done it better. I could have figured something out, made up some story. Lena goes on an adventure or some other shit, or just focused on the world at large and basically stretched it like that. But I don't know. It is what it is. It's out there. I'm not gonna retcon this chapter. It's gonna stay. It's a part of the story. It's actually a very important part of the story, all things considered. I just, made a blunder, didn't write good enough of a chapter, and you guys let me have it. And this is honestly what I love about the community. It's like every time I write a chapter, I see all the positive feedback, and the people are like, "Oh my god, this is so funny. He's so cool, whatever." It kind of warms my heart, and then I fuck up, and you guys just you don't hold back. Like that's what I love. That's what I love when people don't hold back and basically just say as it is, and because I knew it wasn't a good chapter. I just didn't know how bad it actually was, because after I heard all the comments, right after I read all the comments, I went back and reread it as someone who's just reading it for the first time and doesn't have the entire story kind of figured out inside of his head, and it's like, yeah, I deserved all of that. This was not good. This was genuinely a bad chapter. I don't. I'm gonna try to do better. That's really the only thing I can do at this point is just learn from the lesson, and the next time I kill someone off, huh? uh, uh, I'm gonna, set it up properly and try to still make it a surprise, but not, kind of coming out of the literally universe out of nowhere. Anyway, guys, I just really wanted to kind of do this reply because I realized I didn't have enough kind of space to just jot down all my thoughts on it. So this is basically the best way I thought, the best way I could think of to kind of reply to everyone's concerns and everyone's fuck yous and everyone's go die and everyone's you suck, uh, and apologize, and promise that again the next time someone dies is probably going to be written a bit better. I keep saying that. I keep saying the next time someone dies, like I don't enjoy killing characters off in as much as I enjoy what change the death spurs, because death is a very uh, it's a very central part of everyone's life, especially when it comes to death of the loved ones. And every time death happens, metamorphosis in other characters also happens. It's not the only way to develop a character, obviously, or to change something about a story, but it can be a very emotionally driven kind of change, which I appreciate. And it's very cheap to do, so I'm just shooting myself in the foot here. But I promise, no more deaths for a while. That's. I mean, I'm spoiling the story a little bit here, but I don't give a shit. No more deaths for a little while, at least. I don't know who's gonna die next. Honestly, I genuinely don't know who's gonna die next. We'll see. Anyway, guys, thank you for taking your time to watch this. If you did watch it until the end, and I hope you enjoyed today's chapter. I don't think it was as bad as the last one. I think it was actually fairly cool, all things considered. Until next time.